Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Makers, where we are basically inviting various founders, CEOs, and getting candid with them, getting to understand their entrepreneurial journey, and of course, learning a lot along the way. Today, the industry and the space that we are going to cover is fintech. Before I delve into that, let me give a quick introduction about myself as well. I'm Karishma Rajan. I also happen to be a founder myself. I run my own B2B boutique marketing agency where we partner with various clients from fintech, manufacturing, various SaaS products from different industries, and we work closely with them to help them, grow their digital presence and grow their business. We live in a world where we have changed as people. We've stopped carrying cash. We only make online payments. Somebody who is silently but with very strong intentions making a big difference in the space of payments is here with me today. On that note, I would like to introduce Dore Swamy. Dore is the founder of CredoPay. They play a very key role in the entire fintech industry, integrating everybody right from customers to merchants, merchant aggregators, banks, and even lending companies. So they have been doing some great work in India as well as in Dubai, Oman, and in USA. I would leave it to Dore to take it from here and maybe begin with a small, quick brief.
Thank you, Karishma. Thanks for having me in this episode. It's lovely to talk to you guys again. As you rightly said, we are from our fintech industries, and then we are doing a B2B fintech platform. From a background perspective, I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and then later I worked within a corporates, and then as a CEOs, and then CXOs, and then CFOs roles. And later point of time, then I moved into an entrepreneurial journey. 2014, we started as a payments solution provider. That has moved into multiple things, digital and the non-digital. And 2017, we decided to completely move on to what we are today, like CredoPay. Then focusing on to the mainly on the banks, fintech companies, merchant aggregators, PayPacks, ISOs, and then that kind of stakeholders in the in the ecosystem. When we say that payment processing platform, it's a bit of a complicated. It looks like a little over the head for a lot of people, including our investors. Like what you guys do, and it's not a comparable or something like that. In a simple layman language, if you go to a customer and then bank says, okay, today you are using a POS machine to accept debit card, credit card payments, and then tomorrow you want to move into an online mode of an accepting payments, that's a payment gateway, or later point of time, there is something else comes up like a QR code as a biggest thing, like a UPI in India, like a big phenomena which is happening right now. Then his journey starts from one channel, from there to it's a multi-channel. So that is where we are coming into picture. With a single integration, we bring all the channels into a single unified platform. It's unified in real sense. There is an online payments, there's an offline payments, there's a QR codes, there's a biometrics, and there is something else comes into picture, maybe a wallets or kiosk. Everything comes and happens at a single place. Since we are work behind the scene, so we remain as a B2B player. So that's where our job starts, and then we make or we enable the banks, fintech companies, or the merchant aggregators to deploy these systems for their merchants, and then thereby make sure that the customer experience plus the merchant experience is superior. Everything, all the customer queries, everything goes smooth.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure you've given a, great detailed explanation. I think we will disintegrate it for our listeners even further. So now you said that this is a problem which, you and your team identified and you decided to resolve it. So can we talk a little bit about how it was done traditionally, before you came in, or how typically, things are done when it comes to the payment process?
It's a money is always a regulated one. Whichever the country you go, wherever you go, it's very, very regulated. So obviously there are compliances, there are complexities. And then on top of that one, it's a live system. It's actually money once moves out of your bank account, it's very difficult to bring it back. That's an experience within everyone. It's like doing a heart surgery, on a live heart surgery. Banks are always worried about outsourcing these services to third parties. Because what if like something goes wrong, and then how do I correct it, or like, how do I recoup this liabilities, etc. That's going to be always a challenge. And the other side, if you look at it, they don't want to depend on a single vendor for like all the services. Then they actually can build something of their own, some other pieces, because they were not able to find a right kind of a partners, vendor partners. So they built something on their own. So one issue was there was a multiple vendors for a single transactions, and then there's a dependencies were also created in the similar fashion. And if all the partners in the entire chain, if they are not in tandem, then there is a problem. So how do I simplify this entire process? Was actually going to be automated a lot of processes. The behind the scene, we have 25 microservices running. Each and every module is independent products, and then we bring everything together. Now, for example, like an onboarding, if it is fails, it doesn't affect the transaction side. So transactions will be happening, but without disturbing. At the same time, there's something else like a settlement is like is there's some issue, some bugs or something like that, but it will not affect other services. Things will keep moving. So making sure that the merchant is not suffer. So in that way, it makes very simple for a customer. And then the model which we are offering on a SaaS model or a PaaS, platform as a services, that makes even more interesting for a customer, because the business, when it starts earning, then they start paying us. Until that one is some minimum charges is that they're not going to burn like a huge money. The pay as you go model helps them a lot. They can experiment with our platform. They can go to the market. They acquire merchants, and then there is a value-added services. They can do a settlement through an automated system, through our system. That the partners can come onto the platform. They would be managed seamlessly. So these complexes have been taken care by us while they concentrating on the business side.
If you can, talk about what is merchant acquiring, right? So once I go to a merchant, after that, what happens? Who are the stakeholders involved? There is a bank. Where exactly does CredoPay come in?
Sorry for that. I know a lot of jargons. We are used to it. This business, if you look at this business, if you have a credit card, that card has been issued by bank. So that's an issuance. And the other side, when you walk into a shop, you buy something and then you swipe your card. So that's where the acquiring starts. Yes. So the merchant is acquiring the payment. Actually, he's taking the payment. So
the merchant here is the shopkeeper. It could be it could be a Starbucks. It could be any retail store.
Correct. Yeah. And this acquiring is done by a particular bank, because this merchant belongs to taken this entire system either to a particular bank or to a merchant aggregator. The merchant aggregator, so he would have come to the Starbucks and say, okay, take this is a machine available or this is a system available. You can use it for acquiring or acceptance of the payments from your customers. So that's the piece.
When we go into the mall or we go somewhere, the machine in which we put the card, that is the POS machine, right? That's one of the modes of payments.
And then when you log into an Amazon, you are making an online payment. That is actually you're using a payment gateway. That's an online mode.
Yes. So payment gateway is also like you can pay on Amazon also through Google Pay, right?
You can. That's a QR code.
Exactly.
That's a QR code.
For payment gateway, are you also talking like something like a Razor Pay in the middle? That could be.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are, they're there. So that's the payment gateway mode. So these all again connected back to a particular bank. And then this is actually an acquiring business, nothing but it's a merchant acquiring.
Merchants are either connected to the bank or a merchant aggregator. And then where does CredoPay come in?
So we enable the merchant aggregator or the bank to accept these payments using our technology platform.
So there are some methods which they have been using earlier on, and CredoPay comes in. And when the CredoPay solutions are implemented, then the process becomes faster, smoother, cheaper,
cost effective,
cost effective as well, and it makes it better for the customer as well as the merchant, as well as the bank or the merchant aggregator.
Yeah, simplified. I can just simply put it in one way, saying that we are not invented anything new, as to be honest with you, but actually we have brought in a lot of operational efficiencies. For example, onboarding of a merchant is something which we talk in this language. If you say you're a shopkeeper and you want a POS machine, or you want a payment gateway because you are doing an online services, you wanted to open up an online channel for your customers to come to your website, So you call your bank or like some merchant aggregator. Then they come back to you and then say that, okay, you give me your all the documents, shop details, etc. Everything. They take it and then they fill it and then they go back and then upload it to their system. Then look at it like whether you have a bank account or not. All those things starts. So what we do here is we simply do a digital onboarding. That means in India, a merchant is more onboarded in less than 2 minutes time. He just gives his bank account details, his PAN number, his Aadhaar or shop details or GST. We onboard them, and then we actually kind of fetch a lot of data from the repositories. Like we verify those data, like in your driving license, it could be your Aadhaar or your this is social security. Then if it is matching, then we onboard them instantly, and then he can just next minute he can start accepting the payments.
So to put it simply, like even as a customer, when I go to a bank and I need to physically go there, I need to do my KYC, I need to produce those documents. So, it is a tedious process. But here, with the CredoPay implementation, it can be done completely digitally and just within 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's a digital plus some hybrid. In some countries, still they would like to see the filled application signed by a merchant because there's a regulation says so. So what we do is in those countries, everything is done by customer himself. He can fill a lot of data, and then we keep this data. For example, if he's an existing customer of a particular bank, and then he is like in a particular branch, and then he would like to visit the nearest branch, he can choose, and then this application goes and sits in that particular branch. That particular branch manager or somebody can, just print it, keep it over there. The merchant walks in and he signs, and then he's like he's been activated.
Basically, for anyone listening to this, when you go to a Starbucks and buy a coffee, little do you know that there's so much happening at the back end with so many partners and stakeholders involved, and there are some veterans in the finance industry like Dore who have understood the problems and who have made our lives simpler with this. Can you also tell us a little more about the size of CredoPay and where all are you guys operating right now?
Basically, like we are two co-founders, I and Captain Shivara Shekhar. He's a techie. Actually, like if you speak to him, like he's a pure techie, and then entrenched into product development, and then he owns the entire platform, and then he's a CTO and a CPO. And he loves to experiment with a lot of new things. We complement each other like some other skill sets. So that is how CredoPay born, and then we are taken into the level. We are currently based out of Chennai. That's our main head office, and then the team sits over there. We're a very, very small team of 120 members team right now. Majority of them are techies. And then we have an office, we have our subsidiary company in Middle East, that's in Dubai and then Muscat. And then there's a sales team and then small implementation team sits over there. They're supporting the customers. And then we have one office in US, and that is actually a few implementations going on over there. From a business perspective, we actually evolved like as a product company, but we later converted into a SaaS and a PaaS company.
For everyone, I'm sure SaaS is something that people have heard more, that software as a service. PaaS is payments as a service.
Payments as a services or platform as a services. For example, like you asked because a couple of minutes back, you said that lending as the fintech. Everybody
that's
thinks
what
that
know.
Lending.
Yeah. For anybody who is fintech, yes. You either know that there are banks, and then now when you talk about the fintech revolution, people say, oh yes, there are a lot of lending companies.
This is one of payment as a services. You're right. Actually, we started as a payment as a services, but actually it's converted into a platform as a services wherein we can integrate lending companies onto a platform. So that is how it's been connected.
I think our listeners at least have a fair understanding now of where you come from. To delve a little bit more into the journey, you said that you started in 2014, right? And now we're like 10 years later. It's not easy to be where you are. It's not easy to start something from Chennai in India and, have it expand today in Oman, in Dubai, as well as, on a global level. What were some of the major challenges? You said that you have a lot of techies in your company. So maybe when it comes to like resource management, while you're getting your productivity out of people, you're also retaining, there's low attrition rates. What would you say, was the biggest challenge in this entire expansion?
Karishma, our journey was no different from any other startup or the entrepreneurial journey. We started in 2014. The idea was target the India market. Each village, a couple of villages together, we should have one point wherein we should extend an ATM services as well as other financial services to the people where the banks cannot go. And then we would like to go back and then connect to the banks on a real-time basis and then sell banks products to these people,
So who was the
the
first
people.
customer? How did you get in touch with the right person?
The first customer was, I think, Euronet and Muthoot Finance. We had some backgrounds and then we had some connects and contacts. Then we reached out to them. Muthoot Finance got a white label license and then we started with them. We were deploying at ATMs for them, and then in the while we deploying the white label ATMs, but we were also working together, how do we make this white label ATM points as bigger business points or business banking perspective. So we were working on that side. But 2016 demonetization has happened. Then there was no cash available, and then we waited for a 3 to 4 months time to fresh cash to come in, and that was a challenge. So we were not able to sustain, and then we were not able to load our ATMs, and then the ATMs went to dry, and then there a lot of expenses were sitting. So we have to shut down our business suddenly. 2017, we were completely shut down our business.
CredoPay is something that you had to shut down in 2017, is it?
Actually, the legal entity continued, but the business model, what we were doing, we would shut down the entire thing. So then we stopped that business. All the money, everything, whatever, we earned and other thing, it's just completely gone. But captain, being an army captain, so he said, no, sir, let's do something. Let's not go back or shut down. Let's think through it, and then we'll do something better.
A true entrepreneur speaking,
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for the win.
So he said that let's do something again. Let's not give up or something like that. So then we started. We both were working outside because we wanted the money. Our family has to run. So I was working outside, and then he was working outside. Some consulting here and there. Then we went for raising capital. Somebody, Easy 5 came onto the picture. Then the journey started on the digital side.
Was there a period when you and Captain were not drawing any salaries or not taking any money home?
Yeah, actually, I was not drawing salary till 2020.
How much period was that? Since when to when were you not drawing?
I would say 2014 we started, and then to 6-7 years, I have not drawn any salary from the company.
That's a long time, and that is some dedication. Because I think as an entrepreneur myself, and me coming from a Gujarati family, for me, the first thing is I need to draw my salary. While, a lot of people are determined, even the ones who draw salaries, I think when the money doesn't show in the hand, then things get even more difficult. Then it really shows your persistence and your true determination.
I always felt a little bit of an awkward situation. I don't know whether I should say or not. Running your family with an investor's money is always it pinches. I never in my whole of my life, I never negotiated my salary, even though I worked for multiple companies, multiple rounds of interviews and another thing. I never discussed about my increments or something like that. But later point of my life, it's something. Sometimes it's happened, but it was 1 or 2 minutes conversation, and then it's over. When I take a salary, I want to make sure that I work for that, and then I don't waste somebody money. And if the moment I feel that okay, I'm not contributing enough, I'll leave that company and then move on. So it's something like that. So the business was not making money. So we are not able to take money or something like that. So then I deferred my decision of taking salaries and another thing.
Most people are chasing money. It's really good and inspiring to see that you're actually here to make a change and achieve what you're out to achieve more than just the money that is going to show in your bank.
Money follows.
Yeah. I think that's a great learning coming from a successful entrepreneur, I would say.
Money is important. No doubt about that. And when you run a business, I always say that let's not burn money. Each and every transaction we should make money. You should be very, very definitive. Okay, I'll be spending $1 million for this business, and then this will give me this results. Then that certainty helps a lot as an entrepreneur. But if you say that, okay, I burn like a $5 million, I don't know like what happens, like whether my business will grow or not. That is something which is very, very difficult for maybe I'm a different guy, like the age and like experiences are different, but the new age guys are like different. So there's a different
Your
perspective.
wife, does your wife have the same values about money?
In our case, it's something different. She says that we started like our life with nothing, and then we have grown, and we are like the journey was good all along. We enjoyed our life, and then God's grace, like everything, going smooth, and then I went smooth. So she's like, okay, I know, like I believe you, so you know how to take care of the family, and then what is the responsibilities, and you will not be reckless. So I don't have any problem with what decision you are taking. So she is happy. Everything is very openly discussed, even with the kids. This is how what I'm going to do it, and this is what I can want. This is the money coming in. This is the work and savings we have, or this is an investment we are doing it. Everything is like very, very collective.
Talking about money, I wanted to delve a little bit more into CredoPay also raised funding recently.
Yeah, we have done multiple rounds. Totally, we raised around $7 million so far. And the first round was roughly around $2 million, and then another $4 million later point of time.
When you talk about raising money, or again when you're looking out for investors, I'm sure that's not easy as well. So in our last episode, we had somebody who had also raised funding. The investor happened to overhear him talking about his business to a partner at an event, at a conference. So it was like somebody overheard an idea, and then somebody liked it, and somebody wanted to invest. So it could be pure luck or accidental like that, or it could be a series of really looking at a lot of investors, pitching to them. I'm sure there's an entire deck involved, there's a lot of numbers involved to be able to get that. So how did that pan, or how did you go about it?
It's a very, very similar journey for any other startup. Very few guys got that kind of luck, and then they are brilliant in cracking those investors' expectations. Our business is a bit of a challenging business in the sense it's not a B2C business wherein tomorrow morning I'm going to acquire half a million merchants, and then they're going to do a transaction or something like that. It's not like that. It is actually a little more different because it is a platform, and it is goes to in a B2B space. So obviously, a lot of people doesn't have enough patience to hear us out. And then also like from our side, like mistakes from our side, we are not able to articulate ourselves like, in one line saying what we're doing. This is basically some analyst comes with a pre-biased opinion. Are you a Razorpay? Are you a Pine Labs? Are you a Google Pay? Something like that. And then it is it's very difficult for us to like explain to them like it's not like that, but we are enabling those guys. But there are people who understood this business. For example, Mr. Sailesh Chupreti. He is actually the early investor, and then he understood this space very well. And then that's why like he came in as a investor, the first investor. And then the Zent came in. Of course, they are a financial investor, but they looked at it because they come from a business house, and then they thought that okay, this is going to grow, and then it's going to change a lot for the their business, and then the geography, etc. So they invested into our business. So today, if you look at it, our investor side, they understand like 90%, like 10% is a bit like still we have to explain to them saying like this is where like we are moving, and then this is the new change which is happening because there's a lot of changes or rapid changes happens. So this challenge would be there for the most of the new startups. Why I'm saying this one is when I talk to some of the younger startup guys, somebody. They have got their own idea, very clear visions before they're starting the business. And another thing, when they start the business, then the journey become a little bit of goes sideways. I would say it is a little bit of a distraction because there's a competition is doing something and they also want to try that one, and somebody else is doing something, and then when they're going to the market and then talking to some customers or something like that, then somebody else is giving us some idea like why don't you do this also. So then they lose focus. And then that's where a lot of time I felt that that disturbs their investment pitch actually. Then they get confused. Are you a B2B guy? Are you a B2C guy? Are you a product guy? Are you a service guy? So then there's a mix actually comes up, and then they get confused. So then they lose out actually to the pitch. Stay focused, and then you achieve a critical mass or the whatever you're doing right now, or a success in that one, and then you show that okay, I pump in $1 million. Here is my business growth. If you're very clear in that funda, I think then there is a way for them, and then they can crack this code.
I think that's very insightful that, don't forget the vision that you have started with, or don't lose out on your foundation, because even, when I also talk to a lot of, product owners, especially SaaS product owners and stuff, they're very confused. Like you rightly said, that they want to keep changing, or they're confused about, maybe they don't have a strong go-to-market strategy. So, like you rightly put it, that it's very important to first set it in stone that this is what we're out to do, and be focused on that, and don't get distracted. So that is one of the key insights which I think is very great from an investor standpoint as well. That's something that I also personally did not know, that this also could have so many advantages or repercussions in the process. Would you want to share anything else for startup owners or anybody who's starting out at different levels, since you are you're for 10 years now, you have lived it all, somebody who's in this space for 2 years, somebody who's in the 5-year goal, somebody who is looking at expansion. So what are the key things that they can look at you, look up to you?
The first one thing I would like to tell all the new entrepreneurs: fail fast. If you try something, if it is fails fast, that means you can move on from there. Don't hang on to it. There is no way, because I see everybody's life as 5 years each kind of blocks. If you put together, if you're not able to grow and you're not able to scale up, then you're wasting your time. Some of the owners, I say that, for example, today's world, be it in India or any other country, you want to start something fresh, and then you want to make money end of the day. Yes, but it's actually, what if the next 10 years you worked at a company at a senior position, you would have earned similar money of what you would be getting out of this your business. But entrepreneurship is not making money, but actually it's a lot more than that.
What do you say is better, entrepreneurship or climbing up the corporate ladder?
Both are today has got a distinct way of looking at the things. In the initial stage of your career could be just you going to doing some desk job or something like that. That is end of story. The first 10 years of career is something different. The later point of next 20 years, you are an entrepreneur, but you are being paid by the company, but you would be actually doing an entrepreneur job because you have to acquire customers. Any role, whether it's a CFO, whether it is in a CXO or a COO or a CMO, or you are into sales or a CEO, forget about that. I can just sit my desk and then do something like that. No, it's not. Actually, you have to sell something, you have to meet your customers, you have to this one, because the environment has changed. The CFO role, if you look at my own life, I did my accounting in the initial 5 or 6 years. That's all. After that, my my role was more of talking to my customers, sitting with the models, and then explaining to our our internal teams. Now this is how the business should go. And this is where we are going to make money, or this is where we'll lose. This is something you become an entrepreneur over a period of time. The both has got plus minuses. There, you're working for somebody else. If you look at it. But here, it's your own company. End of the month, you have to make sure that your debts have been paid, your salaries have been paid. Everything is so you have to collect money from the customers. Everything is now as comes to you, one person as an owner. But there it is something different, wherein it's a collective multiple individuals coming together and then making sure things are happening. So both the way there is an entrepreneurial journey, but how we take it, it's all matters.
See, in a corporate world, you probably have a manager or you have a boss. in your entrepreneurial journey, sometimes you're on your own, or sometimes you do happen to find really good mentors who are like giving you guidance, especially in your critical moments, or where there are like there's any big issues that need to be addressed.
Mentorship is a very, 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 very important person. Like, you are getting that ready-made answer to a lot of your questions without you going through that. Your mentor will, when you say you're a mentor, he would definitely have that much of a knowledge, that much of a seniority, and then understand all I can see in the world, and then he done before. So obviously he would have gone through this phase much before you, and then you would have understood like all the pitfalls of that one. He will guide you, he will advise you. And sometimes I've seen that some of the the perspectives which we carry as an entrepreneurs, and then we have a lot of love to our product, and then sit within a product, and then in the drawing room, like keep improving that without talking to a customer, the real customer. And a similar situation happens in a very complicated situation that's in our mind. But when you go and talk to a mentor, and then they can give you a few suggestions, okay, that makes your life simple. So find some mentors like that who has done this before. Talk to them on a constant basis. You get a lot of relief from the your mental agony, and you will achieve better. I'm sure, like, and I've seen that a lot of people are talking to people, or implementing small changes in their businesses. They've done fantastic. So that is required all along in your life. Like, it's very much required. Sometimes your friends are no mentors. You just talk to them. You get a lot of insights.
Sometimes it's all in your head, you're
Yeah,
like half the things are in your head, and somebody gives you a third person's perspective, and a lot of it you can get a lot of clarity.
correct. You're right.
I would just like to highlight some key takeaways for our listeners out of this entire chat. Be persistent. He did not take a salary for 6 years. That speaks a lot. Also, when it comes to even investors, it's trying to get an investment. It's not an easy journey, but if you are focused, if you know what you are in for, you'll definitely gain success. Lastly, even mentorship can really help you in your entrepreneurial journey, finding the right mentor, getting perspective from people, understanding, and being open to learning. Let them participate in your growth journey as well, can also really help you.
That's it, Karishma. Thanks for giving this
Yeah.
opportunity. You summarized very well.
Okay, great. Lovely chatting with you. And thank you so much for coming in and giving your valuable time.
Thanks, Karishma. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot. Have a good day.